Hi, I'm Arnie Leibovit, and this is Trailers from Hell. In 1951, George Pal and his wife Joker were on a promotional tour in San Francisco for When Worlds Collide. They had a few hours between interviews and started walking. They went by a theater and there was a magician show going on, so they peeked in and the theater was packed. When the show ended, Joker started talking with George and they said, "Wouldn't it be nice to make a picture about a magician?" "So who's the greatest magician in the world?" "Houdini, of course." But first, George had to secure the rights. It turned out that Harry Houdini's wife sold her husband's biography to Paramount, who sold their rights to an attorney who just happened to be one floor below Pal's at the studio. George made a deal and Paramount moved ahead. Pal hired Philip Yordan and Barry Lyndon to write the script. Lyndon previously scripted Pal's The War of the Worlds. Pal picked veteran director George Marshall, who worked with Laurel and Hardy, Bob Hope, Marlene Dietrich, just to name a few. George wanted Marlon Brando to play Houdini, but the studio wanted Tony Curtis, who was a rising star. Tony told me that Pal came up with the idea of pairing his new wife Janet Leigh as Bess, who were the hottest couple in Hollywood at the time. This was the first film they appeared in together. While the Yordan-Lyndon script took liberties with Houdini's life, especially the exact circumstances of how he died, the film is still an entertaining account of Houdini's escape artist exploits, his love for his wife Bess, and his attempt to reconnect with his late mother in the afterlife. Here's the trailer. George Pal was always fascinated with magic and decided from the outset that the magic tricks in Houdini should be as real as possible, no trick photography. To accomplish this, he hired a friend of Houdini, Joe Dunninger, a famed mentalist, as well as magician George L. Boston, to act as an advisor and coach to Tony Curtis. Tony was very conscientious, learning the magic, and later became quite an accomplished magician in his own right. Torin Thatcher, one of my favorite character actors, plays Houdini's fictitious assistant Otto. The film was to be shot in black and white, but when Pal saw all the beautiful costumes and sets, he convinced Paramount the picture had to be shot in Technicolor. The DP was Ernest Laszlo, a Hungarian just like Tony Curtis and George Pal. Hal Pereira and Albert Nozaki were the art directors. Al designed Pal's The War of the Worlds as well as the Ten Commandments for Cecil B. DeMille. Costume design was by Edith Head and Roy Webb composed the music.
I'll admit that Scotland Yard has the finest police brains in the world, but these old sardine cans you call jails are no challenge to the great Houdini.
When I saw the film for the first time, I didn't realize Pal had made it. I always felt there was something unusual about it, almost a supernatural quality. The spinning globe Tony stares out while working his way out of a straitjacket, Houdini trapped under solid ice, or the final water torture cell climax. All those scenes have a magical quality that was unmistakable Pal. Tony Curtis performed all the stunts in the film and tore the ligaments in his leg. Both Janet and Tony told me how much they loved George and that his creative hand was present throughout the shooting. Janet Leigh said, "George Pal is one that should never be overlooked or forgotten because he had great imagination, and it was so perfect for him to be involved in the magic because magic is so much of imagination."